This is Dateline News and Conversation. The topic tonight: Serbia, Belgrade, riots against the government. We're going to find out what's going on, why it's happening, and we're going to understand the historical context of what is happening. My guest tonight, she's on the scene, Dragana Trifkovic. She's been on with us before. She is the director of the Center for Geostrategic Research, and she has a PhD. Dragana, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, dear Regis. It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you because you are such an informed person on everything that's happening globally. In fact, you have an organization, the Center for Geostrategic Research,
Yes.
and you're involved with a number of professional people, academics, scientists, I think around the world, who are searching for um, solutions to problems that are very complex. And you're looking at it from a many different disciplines. But that's not the topic for tonight. What is happening in Serbia? And before I finish that question, most of our viewers probably know where Serbia is, but most Americans probably can't find it on a map. So if they know where Italy is, everybody must know where Italy is, the boot. And Serbia is, if you go between Rome and Florence, if you go west across the Adriatic Sea, Serbia is right about there in terms of latitude. And Serbia was once a part of the former Yugoslavia. Um, and that whole region really has been involved in territorial disputes and somewhat conflict, politically anyway. So, Dragana, with that, what happened on Christmas Eve? I believe it was Christmas Eve, Sunday, in your capital of Belgrade, where you're located.
Yes, thank you very much for explaining our position. The Serbia is the country of the Central Balkans, no matter that the European Union is calling us Western Balkans. And I think in geopolitically, the Serbia has a very important position on the Balkan region. Because it's central country, as I said, and it's easy to control even Mediterranean region, and it's close to Western Europe, and strategically it's a very important place. So we had this very good scientist. He said it was his name was the Jovan Cvic. He said that our main problem of Serbian people is that we build the house on the main road because exactly the Serbia is on the main road between Middle East and the Western Europe. And that is why we have a lot of problems all the time. We know about our past in the history. We had a lot of conflicts in this region. And now again, we have instabilities. But as I said, it's usual for this region, unfortunately. So we had the riots, as you said, at the Catholic holiday because we celebrate the Orthodox Christmas at the January 7th, like in Russia. And we are Orthodox, and this is a big difference for us. I mean, we are different for other European countries, and maybe this is one of the reasons because we are not accepted in the Western Europe like Orthodox people. But anyway, these new demonstrations started after the late elections in the Serbia. The elections were held on the December 17, and the elections were the parliamentary for the new parliament, and also local elections and elections for the Belgrade, for the city, our capital. And after the elections, opposition started to complain that the elections weren't fair, and they mentioned a lot of problems with the results, as well as the some problems in the sense they fixed that breaking the rules by inviting the people, for example, from the Bosnia and Herzegovina, our neighbor country where the Serbian people live as well, to vote on election in Serbia, which is against our constitution. I mean, the people who lives in Bosnia cannot vote at our elections in Serbia, especially at local elections, because they don't live in Serbia. So, I mean, in the past, we also had this kind of complaints of how the elections are organized in Serbia, and too many fixed this some breaking the rules problems. But also we had the protest in the past, but nothing is changing. And this is some kind of temporary political destabilization, which is usual from our country from the time of breaking the Yugoslavia. We had the war in Yugoslavia. Maybe we will talk about this later. We had the war in Yugoslavia in 90s, and we have NATO aggression in 99. And after this, the coup in the 2000, 5th October, it was the first well-organized coup, I will say, by Western powers or US, by the reset of the Jim Sharp so-called unviolent revolution, but we had a problem with violence all the time. So I said this to explain that we just have all the time instability, and I think that the idea and the goal of the Western powers, who has a lot of influence at the Balkans, especially at Serbia, like a Central Balkan country, their goal is to have continuously destabilization and not stable situation in Serbia, because it's easier to control this country than if you have the stable system and stable institutions and political structures, that then it's not easy to control the country. And I think that is was the reason of breaking the Yugoslavia in a part, because if you have one powerful big country like Yugoslavia was in the past, it's not easy to control this country. And this country has sovereignty, for example. But if you have 6, 7, 8 small countries in the Balkans, which maybe they are not in the full-term countries, and they don't have sovereignty, then it's easy to control them. So this is, we have now the protest. The opposition is not satisfied by the results, but anyway, they agreed with the late elections, and they tend Also, it's the question for them, for the opposition, why they agreed on the elections when they know that there will be a lot of problem with the organization, with the control, and so on, because we have this kind of problem uh, too many years, not from yesterday. And the problem is that we have now also some kind of violent people at these demonstrations. They break the parliament in Belgrade. They organize some riots. But it's not very easy to understand for which reason, what is the goal of this, and who is behind this. Because there are rumors as well that the policemen in the civilian clothes are organizing this kind of riots, and then they are attacking the normal people who are protesting like students and so on. On the other hand, we have the government who is saying that the Western powers want to organize a new Maidan in Belgrade, and that these demonstrations are coordinated by the Western powers. They didn't mention exactly who, but they said also that they have confirmation from the Russian side that Western countries are involved in organizing some new Maidan in the Belgrade. So my conclusion is that, of course, we need to have this thought on the mind that maybe it's possible to organize the new coup in Belgrade. I said we had 23 years ago, we had the coup organized by the US, by the organization named Otpor in Serbia, which was financed by US, United States structures, and CIA, I will say, directly. And after this, this organization was also helping to other organizations controlled by US in too many countries, in Georgia and Ukraine as well, to organize the coups. But also we need to know that our government is also cooperating very close to with Western Central Powers. I will say that United States and Britain especially have a big influence here in our country, and influence in every institution, in police, in army, in parliament, in the trade center, in the also faculties, universities. I mean, literally everywhere. Also, they have a network of the non-governmental organizations which they finance, and these organizations are also used for the factor of controlling the authorities. I also lead the NGO, as you said, but we are not connected to any Western power centers or financed by our government. I mean, we are not financed by any government, domestic or foreign. We are self-financing our organization, and that is why I can freely say that our organization is totally independent. I mean, I can criticize whatever I think it's necessary to criticize. So, according to my thoughts, and we don't have any problem with that, and any obligations to anyone. And this is really rarely today. And this is the situation. We have the government authorities who are cooperating with the US, with the Great Britain, with the Brussels, and they are cooperating also in this way that they are not respecting our constitution. They are not respecting also the international law and our constitution as well. So our government did too many steps which are anti-constitutional, and they are against the interest of our country and our people, like signing the Brussels Agreement in 2013, and also the Washington Agreement with the Trump in 2020. And also, they agreed on the so-called German-French plan for Kosovo, which is a literally plan for independence Kosovo. Independence Kosovo is the American project, but Americans are trying to finish this project with pushing on the different ways. And I will mention also that Kosovo, it's not independent state. The Kosovo is the territory of the Serbia, but it was separated for Serbia because United States supported the Albanian separatism and Kosovo, and literally they separate this territory. But according to the resolution 1244, which was adopted in the Security Council of the UN, the Kosovo is the Serbian territory. So the main conflict in our country is about connected to Kosovo problem. And I will also say why the Kosovo was so important for the Americans, because the Americans in 90s wanted to build the military base in the Serbia. As I said, the Serbia in geopolitical strategically is very important country in the Europe. And they wanted to build the military base. So our government and our president in that time, that was Milosevic, Slobodan Milosevic, who after this died in The Hague, he didn't want to allow to build the military base, but Americans wanted. So this is why we were bombed in 90s, and of course after the bombing, Americans built the biggest military base in the Europe. The name is Bondsteel.
I have to ask you a couple of questions because you explained an awful lot, but I want to help people understand and break it down a bit. Let's go back to the December 17th election.
Yes.
Are people contesting the election? Were there international observers? Was it considered to be a fair and honest election? First question.
Regis, I also observed the elections in a lot of countries, but the main question here is there any place that we can say that the elections are fair? I know this place. In the Russia, I can confirm that elections are very regular and fair because they have a serious observing system, and society literally can observe 24 hours the elections. Everything is covered with cameras, and it's very good organized. But if we speak about the elections in the different other regions, I observed the elections in the Middle East countries, in the African countries, in European countries as well. We don't have this kind of standard. We don't have this this mechanism of control like in Russia, for example. We don't have it. So we had the international observers from OSCE and from European unions, and also from Russia and from different countries. So they also fixed some irregularities in the Serbia. But as I said, this is not only case for these elections. We had these problems years ago. And the problem is also that we have all the time late elections. I mean, literally, we have elections every year. Last year, we also had the elections in Serbia, and now we had elections. Maybe next year we'll have also new elections. So idea is to have all the time elections. It's not so important for the Western countries how these elections are organized, controlled, and so on, because they don't care. They care for their own goals. And this is why I cannot say that these elections were very well organized, because generally in the European countries, not only in Serbia, also in the Italy, in the different countries, it's not easy to the mechanism for society, for example, to control these elections, which will be good for the democracy, don't exist. This is the problem. And also, this is why we had now fully uncovered this today's so-called democracy. Even they don't care for the elections. I mean, in European Union, who is deciding who will be the prime minister? Even they have in some countries in this that system that the commissars, like in the communism, are deciding. I mean, we remember this case of Mario in the Italy. Someone decided that he will the banker is good for the prime minister, and he will be this. Also, the question is who voted, for example, for the French president Macron in the France, because he don't have, I think, 20% of the support of the voters in France now. So in generally, I think we have the problem with this mechanism, the system of the democracy, which is false, and it's not. I think the goal was of these Western power centers to have this false democracy, and that is easy to be controlled by some powers which are on the higher level. And this is also the case with Serbia. I mean, we had the elections, we had the irregularities, fixed irregularities in these elections, and what now we had the problem. But in the past, we had the same situation. For example, in 2016, the OSCE, after six months, published the report about the election, 6 months after the elections, where they confirmed that they fixed a lot of irregularities in the elections. But I mean, what that means, if you publish 6 months after the elections, it's necessary to react immediately. And I think this mechanism with this false democracy, and also we really don't know the mechanism of choosing, for example, prime ministers, because we also have in Serbia Prime Minister Ana Brnabić, which is not fully not supported by the people in Serbia. I mean, no one didn't voted for her, but she is prime minister already 3 mandates. And if you create this kind of system, of course, that you will have the problems and the all the time these some conflict situations. But if you have this kind of situation, then you have the choice and you have the chance to control this situation and to react according to your own goals. I mean, if the Western powers need to calm down the situation, they can do this. And if they need to create a new Maidan or new problem, a new conflict at the Balkans, if they see that they are losing their influence, for example, they can easily use these mechanisms to create the house.
So let me ask you this. In your opinion, are the people, the citizens of Serbia, happy with what's going on, happy with the government, happy with the election results, happy with American interference? I'm curious about what the people are feeling and thinking.
No, the people are not satisfied with this, what is happening in our country already too many decades. They're not satisfied, they're not happy. And this is also the problem because we have a lot of unsatisfied people, unhappy. They don't like at all this, what is happening in our country, but they don't have any opportunity to influence and to change this situation in some better way. So this is why I think in the future we will have more and more this capacity for the creating the conflict, because you have this kind of unsatisfaction of people growing all the time and nothing is changing. And this is also I think the resource for the Western countries, for the Western powers which are involved in situation here in Serbia. And this is the also, when I said the resource, I mean they can use this energy of people, or they can use this unsatisfaction of people for creating something. But of course they will not create something to change the situation in better way for us to implement the democracy, or like they're lying all the time because they don't care for the democracy in Serbia. They will use this for their own goals. In the past, for example, like they wanted to build a military base, now they want to keep the control. So they're ready for everything. I mean, they're ready to start a new war in the Serbia, to organize the coup, to create the house, everything. Not only in Serbia, we saw this in the Middle East region, in the Africa, and different regions and countries. So this is the problem with us. And also the problem is that we don't have stable institution. I mean, our institutions are, and our system in the Serbia is totally devastated, and we don't have any base for creating stability. We don't have institutions anymore. They're corrupted. We don't have military structures, we don't have political system, we don't have the parliament, we don't have parliamentarians. So this is the problem for the people, how they can resolve their problems, how they can react, on which structures they can count, because we don't have any base anymore.
We've talked about this before. The use of soft power by the
Yes.
United States. Now, I, as an American, refuse to use the term Western powers. Let's call it what it is. It's the United States of America, albeit a tool of a very small group of globalist trillionaires who are basically controlling all of this. I think you'll agree. They have
Yes.
developed the tools through soft power. You and I have talked about this before. They use the money of NGOs. They use the money of USAID. They use the money of the Peace Corps. They use the money of George Soros to come in and precondition people. They create um, an understanding of what reality is for them. People are
Yes.
confused. They pour millions of dollars into all levels of government and local NGOs. We've talked about this. It's very, well, not widely known, but it's very well known by some of us who are paying attention. And they've been doing this for decades, not only in Europe, but in the United States. You look at everybody who is elected, let's start there with those who are elected, they have all been bought and paid for long ago. They represent the interest of those who give them money. They have been indoctrinated with a certain mentality and agenda. When we look at what's happening in Europe, in the EU, I find it laughable. These people who have never been elected to any office are making decisions for all of these sovereign countries, but then beneath the EU, and all of them are bought and paid for and preconditioned and educated. Then you look at some of these people who are presidents and prime ministers of local, supposedly sovereign countries. They've all been bought off and paid for and indoctrinated.
Yes.
This is a this is a frightening situation. You talked about false democracy. You talked about elections that really don't mean anything. And I see this as a problem not just for Serbia. I see it as a problem in many, many other countries, practically most European countries, but recently now Georgia, Ukraine in 2014. United States is meddling in Moldova. The United States is meddling in Poland. The United States, and I say the United States, but they are just the battering ram. And I think you'll agree with that.
Yes, totally. Yes.
So, what I want to ask you this: you wrote an article in response to a question: Is a political revolution possible in Serbia? And the title of your article was "The U.S. is coordinating the actions of both the Serbian government and the Serbian opposition." I
Yes.
mean, they have all of the marbles. They have all of the players on the chessboard, black and white. Would you agree?
Yes. Yes. Totally. Totally. I agree with you. With everything you said, and also with this mechanism. Uh, I will also mention the role of medias, mainstream medias. This is the also the key element of this mechanism of controlling and manipulating people everywhere. And yes, they have influence everywhere. They have built this influence for decades, and it's not easy to now to be free of this influence. We will need to work hard in the future to change the situation. And I really think that United States, I mean, these global structures who are using the United States as well, and I know how much the people in the United States are suffering because of this. So I mean that they controlled really the government and the opposition as well. And what is the problem and how we can fight this? I said already that the Serbian people don't control the parliament, the government, the institutions. We lose the control. We lose the mechanism of people's control, which is democracy, yes, but we don't have it. We have the false democracy. And these global structures, they control to their network of people, uh, which they in the past helped for finishing the schools, universities. They help them for finding the job and also promoting, and all the time they are pushing and helping them. So they have this kind of network of people everywhere, in all institutions, in the government, in the parliament, in the military, in the police, at the university, everywhere. And on the other hand, we don't have some power who will be the competency, I mean, who will have the same level of influence. For example, Russia or China, for example, the big powers, but they don't have this kind of influence or mechanism here in Serbia, or I think in different countries as well, because we lived in the global Western world in the past decades, and they work hardly to build this kind of mechanism. So we have now this situation that the Western powers are controlling fully political system in Serbia. But as you said, not only in Serbia, in different European countries, the same situation. In France, for example, also they control the opposition and the government. Also in Italy, we had this Meloni. She was the opposition, and she speaks totally different from the authorities. But when she became the authority, she started to speak and to act as the leaders of the authorities in the past. So this is the same model everywhere in the Serbia as well. So we have these Western powers controlling our opposition, our government as well, and they're also the managing the connections between opposition and the government in our country, and as they like, as they wish, according to their goals, not our goals. So on the other hand, we have Russian influence, which is very poor, because in the time of the break of Yugoslavia in 90s, there was the break of Soviet Union as well. We had in the former Yugoslavia the Soviet, or we can say the Russian influence, but the American influence was dominated. And after the breaking of Soviet Union, the Russia in the time of Yeltsin, and didn't have time and didn't have opportunity to build this kind of system of influence, or soft power, or whatever we call this influence. They didn't have a chance to develop this, because they had big problems in their own country, and they needed literally to be consider about the saving their own country and their own people, and rebuilding their own country. And now they're influencing through the official connections to the government. They have relations with the government, our government, and the parliament, and the prime minister and the president as well. But the problem is, from the time when the special military operations started, our official authorities cut all the connections with Russia, political connection, military exercises. They also cut everything. They continue to have military exercises with the NATO, for example, but not with the Russian army, because the Western powers forbid to them to stay in contact with Russia. And that is why they are afraid. Our president didn't want to meet the Russian president. Vucic didn't want to meet the Putin because he is afraid of the reaction of United States, of Washington, of Brussels, and this is the problem. And if we speak about this soft power, Russia don't have soft power. They even don't like to say, this. They don't like to say soft power because they are saying we don't want to cooperate someone with some other countries, with some other people using the power. No matter is it hard, soft power, we don't want this. We want to development our relations through people's democracy or people's diplomacy, and with the cooperation based on the interests of both sides and so on. But now we have a problem if we have this very honest attempts of Russia, but on the other hand, we have so aggressive this soft power, so-called soft power, and the mechanism of NGOs, medias, this network of literally agents of Western powers everywhere in the system. How we can be involved in this system, how we can create some different influences. It's not possible. And the problem is that the United States, global powers created some system of, I will call it a system of emergency reaction. What that means? This is what I said. They control the opposition and the government as well. So in some cases, for some goal, they needed to this system of controlling in the opposition. They used it and they left, and then will use the system in the government or in different NGO organizations, or in one opposition party, then in different. So this is dynamic system. They are moving. This is not. This is very dynamic system. And on the other hand, the Russian cooperation is on the base that they are cooperating only with the government, only with the authorities. They're not cooperating with the opposition or even with the independent people who are criticizing the government. For example, I support the Russian policy. I support the special military operation for my own reason, because I know the history. I know the reasons why the Russia was literally, they didn't have a chance to choose. They were pushed to start this special military operation. But no matter of this, for example, Russian embassy in Serbia is not cooperating with me. I'm not inviting for these events in the Russian embassy because I am criticizing the authorities in Serbia. And I think this is the problem for the Russian diplomacy, because if they have competition like Americans, which they have influence everywhere, they're cooperating with everyone, with the opposition and with the independent people and with the in the university, in the institutions, and with the government, with everywhere they have influence. And you then have Russian powers, Russian authorities cooperating only with the government, which is also under control of Western powers. I think it's not good for changing something. In that way, we cannot win this situation with the American influence, with the Western power influence. I mean, we need also some new mechanism or new kind of cooperating of work because, as I said, they are moving all the time. They have very this dynamic system of emergency situations, and they can use this part of mechanism in any time when they need. And different parts, they I mean the Russians or Chinese as well, or any different powerful from Western, they don't have a chance to run this game.
You've been talking a little bit about Russia and the way Russia is trying to use its uh, political uh, posture with other countries. But I think we're both, and you are working on possible solutions to how to change the system. As I look at it, and we alluded to this, people are not happy almost anywhere in the Western world. The American people certainly are not happy. You don't have to look at polls. You just have to look at what is happening all across the United States. You look across what is happening all across European countries. The same thing, austerity, rising prices. People are dissatisfied with their elected and unelected officials. And this has been brewing for some time. In terms of a solution, I don't see a popular, global, nonviolent revolution that's going to take place and change the system. I just don't see it. Um, I think there's another alternative, and that is that as we look at what's happening in the West, economically, politically, socially, morally, spiritually, they're falling apart.
Yes.
They don't have what they had in the past to keep them connected as a sovereign country. And so, one solution to this might be, and maybe this is what the globalists are really looking for with Klaus Schwab and his World Economic Forum and the Golden Billion, is to eliminate millions, billions of people. And then the third alternative, and I know you're very much aware of this, is I don't know if we call it a movement or what, but it's Russia, China, and the BRICS, which is expanding rapidly. And they are trying to create, and I see if you agree with me, an alternative system to what now the West, the United States, and the globalists have set up, which you and I both agree on. It's a masterful system, powerful control system. Will the new BRICS and the de-dollarization result in a peaceful transition to a new world order? That's my question. Will that lead to a peaceful transition to a new world order? Or will the globalists, realizing they've lost, resort to hard power and the unthinkable? What are your thoughts?
I think the truth is somewhere behind this. I mean, yes, we have this transformation and transition, global transformation, and this is we live in the historical times, and I think it's very interesting what is happening now. And I will say for myself that I waited this all my life for this to happen. So sometimes I'm just thinking, oh, am I dreaming? Is this really happening? Because I'm really happy to live in this time of big changes, this historical change. I mean, maybe after 500 years, the world will be totally changed in the way that Western powers will not anymore be dominant in this world after 500 years. So yes, we have alternative to this system, but as you said, the problem is that these powers don't want to allow these changes, and that is why we have this transition with a lot of conflicts, with a lot of problems everywhere, and they don't want to stop this. I mean, we have the war in Ukraine, which is the part of this the problem, that they don't want to allow the changes, and they will start the conflicts and create the problems just to stop these changes. They don't need peaceful changes, but because they are losing the game, and like in the past when they started the First and the Second World War as well, they are thinking that they can, through wars, to change their position in the better way and to succeed again, to be free for these problems with I don't remember how many trillion of dollars the America has in the minus in the budget, and they think they will solve this old problem, economical problem, economic crisis, and to change their position in the better way, again through some military conflict. But I think it's not possible now, because we in the First and the Second World War, America and the Great Britain was in the good position. Why? Because territorially they are protecting by the oceans and seas, and they don't have a problem with this ground forces operation. That is why it was good to create the war between Europe and Russia, and it's too far away. We are earning the money, and yes, no war, no money. We will create the war. We will not have the problem because we geopolitically we are protected, and this is good for us. But from the time of after the Second World War, when we have the atomic weapon, we have now different situation, and also not only Russia, the China as well has now these hypersonic rockets, intercontinental rockets, which they can hit the American territory, the British territory in any moment. So these territories are not protected anymore. So I think they are not counting well that they can win again on the with the same model, like in the First, like in the Second World War, because it's not possible. And now we have these changes, as you said, we are changing the global economical system, the de-dollarization, and also we are changing the political system and the system of values, because too many decades and too many years we have also this like false democracy, false value system. This LGBT, it's not our value. We don't want this. This is the political propaganda used by global powers, and very aggressive propaganda. We don't need this. We need traditional values. We need spiritual values, and they are not allowed to people. So yes, we have this big global fight, but as I said, we are in the transition, and these global powers are ready for anything. They will not allow peaceful transition. I mean, this we had the war in Ukraine, Palestine now, but I'm afraid that this will not be finished in the Palestine. Maybe we will have some new conflict in Central Asia or in Baltic states or in Venezuela or in between Pakistan and India or in Africa. Too many problematic regions because We have instability through decades in this Western global world, created this different kind of problem, and this is now opportunity to create the conflict in too many regions in the world. So let's hope that we will. I'm sure that we will succeed to in this transformation. We will have totally new world in the future, but now it's more important to prevent these conflicts, to save the people lives in Ukraine, in Palestine, everywhere, to stop these bloody wars, and as it's possible, because we have different sides which don't want peaceful transition. But let's hope, and I will conclude with this. I think it will not. We are now in the time of changes, but I think we will need to work at least 10 more years to have some results.
Let me wrap this up, Dragana. We started with Serbia and the riots in Belgrade. Uh, are they still rioting? And what do you think will be the final solution? I know you have an opinion on that.
Yes, we still have riots, and also I think Western power countries are pushing people against the people. This is how they create the conflicts all the time. Yes, the clash of civilization, like a global project, and also the clash of people inside the country to create the conflict. So yes, we have. Yesterday we had the students playing football on the main street in the center, and a lot of people were very nervous about this, looking that students are playing football in main street in the center, and everything stopped because they couldn't reach the office and get back home from the job because the students were playing the football in the center of Belgrade. Nonsense. But I think also this is the project of the Western Central Powers. I'm not sure that the students are aware of this, but I think this is the situation. So I think they will continue to create the problems and the riots and to push this conflict situation in Serbia. But this will not escalate till they are controlling the government. This is the main part. And this with this very capacity of creating conflict, they are blackmailing the government to finish this so-called independence Kosovo project. It is the more important now for the Americans because this is the project from 90s. It's not still over. It's not still finished. It's close to be finished, very close. I think the left only one step. This is that our president or our government signed this document that Kosovo is so-called independent country. So we have only one step. So they are using this conflict potential. They are creating the conflict to blackmail the government. So if government agree on their what they want on their documents or the agreements, they don't need to create a new Maidan. But if our government don't want to do this, it's against our interests, against our constitution. I think they will want to create a new conflict at the Balkans, in the Serbia. So this is, yes, I agree, we have dangerous situation, and only that I don't know it's how to not be involved in this really uh, the step against our interests. I mean, it will be like a historical breakdown of Serbia if we sign, if our government sign this agreement of Kosovo independence, because in the past I said that United States wanted to build a military base at Kosovo. They did it after bombing us. They supported the Albanian terrorism at the Kosovo to achieve their goals. And I mean, for them, it's not enough. They want to, they humiliated us. They want to dehumanize us, and they want for us to agree that they had the right to bomb us, to uh, take our territory, to build a military base. That is the goal. So if we agreed, if our government and our president agreed with this will be the historical breakdown of Serbia. But this is the main question: how we can stop this. I mean, how we can change this situation without the conflict. How we can not agree with signing this agreement about the false Kosovo state, and at the same time avoid a new conflict. That is, I don't know how, really. So the choice for us, what they are now, what we have on the table from the side of the Western powers is, or you can sign this and totally destroy your tradition, history, culture, spiritual, because the Kosovo is spiritual cradle of Serbia. Uh, we will totally destroy you. So you have choice to sign this and to be destroyed, or you have a choice not to sign, and then we will destroy you in a different way. This is the situation.
Yeah, it's a horrible situation. Dragana, I want to thank you for your time tonight. I know it's a difficult time in Serbia and in Belgrade, um, but I think it's a very important issue that I want to stay on top of because it doesn't look like either choice is going to result in a very good solution. So thank you so much for your time. I want to wish you a very happy, productive, and fruitful new year.
Thank you very much, dear Regis. It's also important for us to stay in contact and to continue to speak about this problem, because it's very important for us that people in the United States are involved in situation here, that they know really what is happening, because in the past we had only these mainstream medias from the US totally pushing this anti-Serbian propaganda, and now we have this alternative opportunities to say something different from the mainstream. So thank you very much, and also I wish you a very happy holidays.